Hello and welcome to Bottoms Down, Chair Yoga for Everyone. I'm Carol and I'm so glad you joined us today. So check out the sections on the Bottoms Down YouTube channel homepage. They just make it easier for you to find classes by length or by purpose or by body area. And if you haven't already, please click that subscribe button. It's free and we'd love to hear from you, so leave me a comment. Now in today's practice, we're going to explore poses for a healthy posture. You'll only need your chair, and let's get started. All right. So we're going to take just a couple of moments. I want you to lift up your heart. So first of all, we've moved forward in our chair, right? So we're not leaning back. Let's go ahead and lift our heart nice and tall. Pull those shoulders down out of the ears. Place your hands lightly on your thighs. Go ahead and take a moment to ground those feet, making sure you have them equally weighted on the floor. Make sure your sits bones are equally weighted on the chair. Make sure you're lifting up out of the chair, right? So you're sitting up nice and tall. Let's place our hands lightly on our thighs. Palms are going to face up. Close your eyes and breathe. Now just focusing in on that breath, there's that natural inhalation and exhalation. Take a couple of moments and just center yourself into that breath, letting go of everything outside of the room. We're going to elongate that breath. We're going to inhale a little more deeply and exhale a little more completely. And with each inhalation, I want you to think about extending that spine just a little bit longer. Sitting up just a little bit taller. Visualizing that spine tall and erect, all the way from the tailbone through the crown of the head. Bring your hands to your heart. Set your intentions for today's practice. One more breath here. Bring your hands back down to your thighs. Open your eyes. And let's just roll those shoulders up, back, and down. Oh yeah, that feels good. Up, back, and down. And reverse it. Good. All right, we're going to move into a cat and a cow. So let's start by bringing our hands to our heart and lifting up. Kind of exaggerate that lift through the sternum, right through that heart. So sort of exaggerating that, thinking about that long crown of the head up to the ceiling. So as we move into our cat pose, pull those ribs back towards the front ribs back, and then your tailbone goes heavy. Now we're going to round that spine. And at this point, as you tuck your chin, go ahead and bring your hands back down to your thighs and look at your belly button. Now we're going to lift up into that cat-cow pose. We're going to grab the back of our chair and open up that heart. All right, so lifting up through that heart. Let's do that again. So back to our cat pose. Let's bring our hands to heart. So all I'm doing is I'm really trying to just get you to think, right? Thinking about pulling those ribs in, softening through the center of the body, making that tailbone super heavy. Hands are at heart. We're just thinking about rounding over those hands. Now go ahead and place the hands in your lap. Tuck the chin. Look at the belly button. All right, we're going to go ahead and lift up again into that cow pose, and we're going to grab that back of that chair. Oh, yeah. One more breath here and release. Let's roll maybe one shoulder at a time. And if you like, kind of rocking the neck a little bit too. Go for it. It's good. Beautiful. Okay. So we're going to take our right hand and we're going to try to touch the ceiling, keeping this shoulder down. So in our extended mountain, we always want to think about keeping our shoulder blades out of those ears, even though we're trying to touch the ceiling. Opposite hand is going to go down towards the floor. So this hand I'm trying to touch the ceiling, this hand I'm trying to touch the floor, and I'm stretching through the center of the body, keeping that spine super long, belly is tight. One more breath. Come back center. We're going the other way. Now, this can be as much or as little as you want to put into it, right? So either you're really trying to touch the ceiling and trying to touch the floor and you're working and extending through the center of the body and belly is tight and you're actively working this, or you're not, right? Think about trying to work it. And back center we go. Roll those shoulders one final time. Right, so it's kind of that get as much out of it as you put into it. Good job. We're going to move into a crescent lunge. All right, so I'm going to take this knee and I'm going to open it wide. Now this knee is going to fall towards the floor. First of all, just hang out here for just a couple of breaths. You probably are already feeling the front of this leg stretching. I am, right? And that's fine. And this could be exactly where you want to be. If you want a little bit more, I'm going to push that foot back behind me gently. This is a super gentle pose. We're trying to warm things up through the bottom of the body. So just be super nice to your body. Be gentle. Let's release that knee and we're going to do that one more time. And face forward. All right. So now we're going to do a pyramid pose. So I'm going to extend this leg, the same leg, out in front of me. All right, so I'm going to extend nice and long through the spine. My hands are going to be on my leg, and I'm just going to gently walk myself down that leg. And again, really doesn't matter how far down you go. I don't care in the least. Just keep that back flat, right? Let that heart be the thing that falls forward. Not nose to knee, right? It's kind of heart to thigh, not nose to knee. So I'm not rounding like we did in cat pose. Let's go ahead and walk those hands back up. And we're going to do the other side, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open. Nice. Okay, let's let this knee fall down. Maybe you stay right here. It's great. If you want to stay right here, stay right here. I feel this leg, so as your quadricep is stretching now, and if you push the foot behind you a little bit, now you're going to get the hip flexor too, all right? So it's just a little opening for the front side of that body. I'm looking over my front knee and my heart is lifted. Okay, let's go ahead and release that and we're going to do it again. So remember, we're being gentle. We're not doing anything drastic right here. This is a super gentle stretch. And we're going to face forward. We're just warming things up. Let's go ahead and take this leg, extend it out, and we're going to extend the spine long, right? Remember, think about visualizing through that spine, and then just hands are going to gently walk down. And I don't care how far. Does not matter at all. So everybody's body is different. Everybody's range of motion is different. All we're doing is wanting you to work within your own range of motion. Let's go ahead and walk back up. Okay, so sit back down on your chair. Make sure you're stable, right? So we've had kind of moved forward. We're going to just do a seated pigeon. Now in our seated pigeon, for this particular position, I just want you to cross ankle to ankle, okay? So that's all I want you to do. Cross ankle to ankle. Now, lengthen through that spine. Put your hands on your shin, on your thighs, and let your heart fall forward. So it's just a gentle beginning to wake up into that hip, right? So we kind of got the front of the leg, we got the back of the leg, and now we're getting a little bit into that hip. Let's go ahead and lift up. Put that foot down. We're going to go straight to the other side, ankle to ankle. Lengthen through the spine, belly is tight, and just let your heart fall forward. It should feel really good. Just one more breath here. Up we go. All right, let's grab a sip of water. So we're going to sit up really nice and tall in our chair and move into seated mountain pose. We're going to start with our hands down, one hand on each side of your chair, and I want you to really think about middle finger stretching towards the floor. So as I stretch my hands down, I want to lift up through my heart, exaggerate that lifting through the sternum, visualize that long spine. Visualize all the way from the tailbone up through the spine, out the crown of the head. Really think about that nice long spine. I mean, if you think about it, that's the stick that holds us up, right? I mean, it's nice and long. And think about stretching through that. Pushing those fingertips down. One more breath here. All right, and release. Now we're going to move into mountain pose with our hands out by our side and our fingers are extended for a nice stretch. If you have arthritis in your hands, I wouldn't do this, right? It's okay. But if you don't have arthritis, this is a nice stretch for those fingers. All right, we're stretching, we're stretching, we're stretching. Don't lose that lengthening through the spine. Belly is tight. And release. Good. All right. Now we're going to move to those goalpost arms and we're going to squeeze our shoulder blades back behind us, lifting that heart up. Squeezing my shoulder blades behind. One more breath and release. Let's just do a little shoulder roll there just to kind of get those shoulders released a little bit. All right. We're going to do that same thing again. Now, I'm not going to do both versions of down, so if you like the fingertips down towards the floor, do that version. If you like palms out and your fingers open, do that version, right? Either of the two is fine. So let's go ahead and take that moment to work into our mountain pose, lengthening through that spine. Heart is lifted. Stretching, stretching, stretching. Crown of the head is long. One more breath. Come to goalpost arms. Squeeze your shoulder blades behind your back. And now we're going to lean our mountain. So we're going to just take that leaning over one direction. Keeping this opposite hip down. And we're going to come up and we're going to lean the other way. And we're going to come up and we're going to bring our hands down. All right, let's roll those shoulders. And reverse it. All right. Moving on. Okay, so we're going to come back to that mountain pose one more time. Let's choose your version of mountain, right? Your version, whichever version you like. Come back to those goalpost arms. Now we're going to come up to that extended mountain. Our fingertips are going to, our hands are going to interlace. Our fingertips are up to the ceiling. I said fingertips and I meant pointer finger. I'll get it out here in just a second. We're lengthening through and then we're going to lean that mountain. Let's come up and we're going to lean our mountain the other way. And we're going to come up and let's bring those hands down. Take just a moment. Whew. All right, last time. Here we go. You choose your version. Up to goalpost arms. Squeeze the shoulder blades behind the back. Up we go to that extended mountain. Now we're going to grab that wrist and we're going to lengthen through and lean. That should feel good. Let's come back center. And we're going to grab the opposite wrist and we're going to lengthen up and we're going to lean. Up we go. Bring those hands down and release. Right, seated mountain. Such a great, great pose. So the next series, we're going to do a sun salutation. And we'll start with our hands at heart, and we will be continuing, to add on a few things here and there. And if anything at any time doesn't feel good for you, then you're going to leave that piece of it out, and it's okay. But there's a bit to this one, okay? So we'll be doing a few different poses. But we're going to link them all together in what's called a vinyasa. So we'll add the breath, and it'll be fun. All right, so here we go. We're going to start with our hands at heart. And we're just going to start with that big circle. There's your sun, right? We're going to bring those hands up overhead, just like we were in mountain pose, and we're going to bring our hands back to our heart. And then we're going to take those hands back up, and we're going to make that big circle around, and we're going to bring our hands back to our heart. Now we're going to do that again, and I want to show you a modification. So if your shoulders are not happy with that, you're going to keep your elbows bent, right? And so here you are in your sun. So instead of hands all the way up and extending, you're going to bring your hands to your heart. Keep those elbows bent, all right? We're going to do that again. Up we go. And take that big circle around and bring your hands to your heart. All right, one more. Wherever you are, here we go. Let's inhale as we come up. Exhale as you bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, up we go. Exhale, big circle around. And bring your hands to your heart. Adding on, here we go. Inhale, up we go. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, we're going to go up to the ceiling. Now on this exhale, we're going to come forward. Our heart is going to lower just a little bit. Our arms are by our side. We call this airplane arms. We're going to shoot our fingertips back towards the wall behind us and the head towards where the ceiling and the wall meet. Okay, you see what that I'm doing? I'm stretching through that spine. Once again, it's that long spine. One more breath and bring your hands to your heart. We're going to do that again. Here we go. Big circle, up we go. Follow your hands with your gaze if you can. That's another add-on. You don't have to. Up we go. We're going to dive it forward. If you're doing the breath, this is your exhale. All right, here we go. We're going to shoot those fingertips back. Our head is forward. We're lengthening through that spine. One more breath and bring your hands to your heart. One more time, just like that. Up we go. Bring your hands to your heart. Now we're going to come up and we're going to go to that forward salute again. Belly button to spine. Extend that spine long. Stretch. One more breath. Bring your hands to your heart and take a break. Okay, so then add on the next piece we're going to go is from our forward salute. We're going to go into a forward fold. So all you're going to do is you're going to place the arms, your forearms, on your thighs and let your heart fall forward, okay? We're not going to go into a deep forward fold today in this sun salutation. We're going to keep it right here, all right? But even though you're right here, you can still really lengthen through your spine. So I want you to still think about stretching through that spine. Tailbone is back and head is shooting out, all right? Okay, hands to heart. Here we go. Big circle up. Bring your hands to your heart. Inhale here. Exhale, up we go, and we're going to dive forward into that forward salute. Stretch, stretch, stretch. There's your inhale, exhale. Forward fold, hold it, and breathe. Just let that heart fall forward. If you'll notice, my head is still long, right? So I'm not tucking my chin down. I'm extending through that spine, still nice and long spine. Keeping that head lifted. One more breath. Now, tuck your chin and just roll up nice and slow. And bring your hands to your heart, just like that. One more time. Here we go. Big circle. Up we go. Bring your hands to your heart. Don't forget that long spine. Up we go. Dive it forward. Oh, yeah. That's so nice. Stretch out into that forward salute. Are you ready for that forward fold? Here we go. Palms face up. Let the heart fall forward. Keeping that spine long. Stretching, stretching. One more breath. Go ahead and tuck the chin and roll it up nice and slow. All right, take just a moment. Now the next add-on is when we're in our forward fold right here, instead of tucking our chin and rolling up, we're going to work the back muscles. So what we're going to do is we're going to let go and we're going to reverse swan dive and we're going to come all the way back up. Again, if that doesn't work for you if that doesn't work for you, then you're going to stay here and you're going to roll it up just like we were doing, and it's A-OK. Here we go, hands to heart. Big circle, there's your beautiful sun. Are you following your hands with your gaze? Bring your hands to your heart. Let's go up to mountain, and we're going to dive it forward, belly button to spine. Forward salute with airplane arms. Forward fold, here we go. Reverse swan dive, up we go. Bring your hands to your heart. Mountain pose. Dive forward. Forward salute. Stretch it out. Forward fold. Heart falls forward. Reverse swan dive up. Mountain pose. Hands to heart. Last time. Here we go. Up we go. Dive it forward. Forward salute. Forward fold. Reverse swan dive up. And bring your hands to your heart. How'd you do? You feeling good? That is really good. Not only are we working into elongating through that spine, working on that stick, right? That posture, it also really gets good blood flow going. All right, let's grab a sip of water. So we're going to move to the back of our chair so that our spine is nice and supported by the back of the chair. All right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open our arms kind of like we did, kind of like what we do with our mountain pose. So our arms are here low at a diagonal and we're just stretching. So my heart is lifted, my spine is long, I'm pressing against the back of the chair. And then bring those hands in. Okay? The next version is we're going to come a little bit higher. Those arms are a little bit higher. And come in. Now they're going to go a little bit higher. Now this is not up to the ceiling though, right? So it's kind of still at a diagonal, but just a little bit higher. Our heart is lifted. We're pressing against the back of that chair. Belly is tight, extending through that spine. One more breath and bring the hands back down. Okay, so you can keep doing that same thing if you want to. What I like about this version is you've got the back of the chair for support, and you can really feel, I can feel if I'm letting my, if I'm not extending through that spine, I can really feel it on the back of the chair. But if you're with me, what we're going to do is we're going to move forward just a little bit in our chair. And we're going to do that same thing. So we're going to open our arms here, kind of in that low position, if you will. Make sure your belly is tight. And then, if you can, you're just going to give it a little bit of a back bend. So I'm looking up a little bit higher. I'm really lifting through the sternum, squeezing my shoulder blades behind me, and I'm feeling a little bit more of a back bend, but belly is tight. It's a tiny back bend. All right, let's release that. Now, if you're still against your chair, I want you to really be pressing against the back of that chair, okay? Let's come to that middle position. Again, I'm squeezing my shoulder blades behind. I'm looking up slightly. And down we go. Last version. Arms are a little bit higher. I'm squeezing my shoulder blades behind me. I'm looking up. My belly is tight. And down we go. We're going to do the exact same thing one final time. You choose. Do you want your back against the chair or do you want to be not against the chair? You choose. Pick your position. All right, here we go. Arms are down, squeezing, lifting your sternum, lifting that heart, squeezing your shoulder blades behind you. Belly is tight. Looking up slightly. Release it. Back to that middle position. Here we go. And release it. Are we ready? Up to the ceiling or towards the ceiling. Up we go. Shoulders are down. Belly is tight. Feel that stretch. One more breath. Hands are down and release. If you want to give a little shoulder roll, give a little shoulder roll. All right. Now what we're going to do is it's similar to what we did, but we're going to add a little twist to that. So we're forward. Now this one I do want you to be forward in your chair. You're going to sit nice and tall. Go ahead and get those abdominals super engaged, okay? So we're going to take, our hands are going to be in our lap. Now this hand, we're going to start with it and we're going to face forward, and you're going to take that one arm and open it to the side. Bring it back in, and then we're going to do the other side, okay? You're facing forward for now. We're going to add on here in a second. Bring it in. Now it's to the middle position. And you're going to bring that hand down to the middle position on the other side. Hand back down. Now it's up in that upper position. One arm at a time. Down we go. Other side. I don't know about you, but I'm really feeling a nice stretch through my chest and my upper arms, and down we go. Okay, now the next version of this is we're going to continue the same thing, but we're going to follow our arm with our gaze, okay? So it's going to add a little twist to it. So here we go. We're going to twist it open. Hand back into the lap. Other side, here we go. Hand back to the lap. Back to the center, remember, kind of middle. Hand to the lap. Other side, I'm following that hand with my gaze. Back, center, up we go. Down to the lap, other side. All right, we're going to keep going. And we're going to add the breath. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale, center. Inhale, open. Exhale, center. Other, middle. Inhale, open. Exhale, center. Inhale, open other side. Exhale, center. Last one. Nice little vinyasa here. Up we go. And exhale, down. Up we go on the inhale and exhale, and down we go. How did that feel? I love that one. That one's a good one. Okay. So now we're going to add another little twist here. So I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to place it right on my waist. Okay? This arm, now, this shoulder, excuse me, is going to come back, and I'm going to place that hand on the chair. Now, you can use this hand against your waist for a little leverage and try to twist. So I'm pulling my hand on my waist as I twist and look back. All right, so we're nice and warm here, so a nice little twist to the center of the body, and we're going to face forward, and let's do the other side. So this hand is going to come on that waist, this hand is going to come back, pull that shoulder back, pull this waist forward, if you will, as I turn and look back. So there's just a little bit of leverage with that hand that's on your waist that might give you a little different kind of twist. Go ahead and face forward. We're going to do the same thing just one more time. Here we go. Pull it, hand back, shoulder comes back, turn, look over, and then remember you're kind of using this hand on the waist as leverage. Let's face forward, and we're going to do the other side. Hand here, opposite hand on the chair, shoulder comes back, turn, look over that back shoulder, pull on that waist just a little bit, one more breath, and release. Just another version, right, of that twist. We do various different versions of twist, and that was just a little bit different. I like that one. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do in this particular section is we're going to do a half Lord of the Fishes. So we'll take this knee and we're going to open it up nice and wide. Now in your half Lord of the Fishes, what will inevitably happen is this knee that's facing me is going to want to fold in. But I really want you to focus on not letting that happen. So keeping those knees nice and open, feeling that inner thigh stretch, keeping the knee tracking right at the toes. You're going to take this hand, bring it all the way across your body, grab the chair. Lengthen through the spine. Now you're going to turn and look over the back of your chair. So you're not looking at me anymore. You're looking over the back of your chair. We're going to release that and let's do it again. Here we go. This hand is going to come all the way across your body. You're going to grab the chair. Don't forget, lengthen through the spine first, then turn and look over the back of your chair. All right. Thinking about that knee, right? Is that knee facing me or is it folding in? Don't let it fold. One more breath and release. Okay, let's face forward. And we're going to go to the other side. So this knee is going to open up nice and wide first. Remember, keeping this knee open. We're not letting it fold in. Feel that inner thigh stretch. Here we go. Bring this hand all the way across your body. Grab the chair. Are we ready? Lift through the spine. Turn and look over the back of your chair. And just hold it and breathe. Let's release that and we're going to do that one more time. Bring that hand all the way across your body. Lift and twist. That knee is not folding in. One more breath here and release. Okay, face forward. And let's grab a sip of water. So we're going to sit up nice and tall, and I want you to have your hands in front of you, palms facing up. We're going to take those arms and we're going to move them out, and then we're going to lift those hands up about shoulder length or shoulder height. Keep those palms up. Now you're going to turn your hands, fingertips in towards the ears. Now those hands are going to come out and around, and then the fingertips are going to point towards the middle of the belly. And then you're going to take those hands and move back to their starting position. So the idea here is to not lose whatever you have on the trays, which is right in the palms of your hands. Now we're going to reverse it. All right, are we ready? We're going to bring it around first. Out they go. Up and around. Bring those hands back down to our starting position. We're going to do that again. Here we go. Out they go. Palms up about shoulder width or shoulder height. Fingertips come back and around. Around they go towards the middle of the body. Out and reverse it. Just a little work for those shoulders. Back down they go. Can we do it one more time? I know, we've got this. Up they go. Around. It almost takes 3 times to figure out what we're doing, doesn't it? Hand me your trays. Let's come back in. Back around we go. Up and around. I think I lost the tray on my right hand. And down we go. Very, very good. That was a little tricky. It's good though. Okay, so we're going to come to those cactus arms, and we're going to squeeze our shoulder blades behind our back. Now, I want you to take this hand and bring it across, and it's not going to be on the collarbone, but just under the collarbone. We got this little group of muscles there, and I want you to put your fingers there and kind of hold that group of muscles tight. Now, you're going to look over your shoulder. At the same time, you're going to press your cactus arm back. Do you feel that? Oh my goodness. I don't know about you, but I feel that one. Just one more breath. Go ahead and bring that cactus arm back in and release, okay? Let's do the other side. Did you feel that one? All right, here we go. Cactus arms. Now we're going to do the other side. So I'm going to put my hand right under that collarbone. I'm going to look over, not the arm, not the cactus arm. Look over the other side. Now, the arm that's in cactus, you're going to bring that shoulder back behind. There you go. You feel it? I do. We're just holding it and breathing. Holding it and breathing. One more breath. Bring the cactus arm back forward. Look forward and release. Let's do that one more time. Just one more time. Here we go. Bring it across. Look, press back. Come back center. Cactus arms. Other side. Look and press it back. Come back center and release. All right, that feel good? Okay, let's go to Crescent Lunge. So I'm going to take my knee and I'm going to open it nice and wide. Then I'm going to let this knee fall down towards the floor. This could be where you want to stay, but if you're with me, I'm going to press my leg back. I'm back on those back toes. I'm going to let the kneecap, back of the kneecap press up towards the ceiling. I'm looking forward. Come to cactus arms. Squeeze your shoulder blades behind you and look up at the ceiling. So there's quite a stretch for not only the quadricep but also the hip flexor. Let's release everything and we're going to do that again. Even if you have your knee down, do the arm movements. Okay, here we go. I'm pressing the back of my kneecap up to the ceiling. I'm coming to those goalpost arms. I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades behind me and I'm going to look up at the ceiling. Just one more breath here. Bring your hands back down. Release that leg and face forward. Okay, same leg extends out in front. We're going to lengthen through the spine and we're going to let our heart fall forward. Keep your hands on those thighs if you want to for some support. Tuck the chin and roll it up. Extend through the spine nice and long. Let your heart fall forward. Tuck the chin and roll it up. Lengthen through the spine, keeping the back flat. Let that heart fall forward. Tuck the chin and roll it up. Nice. Okay, we're going to move to seated pigeon. So I'm going to cross ankle to knee. And then I'm going to lengthen through my spine and I'm going to let my heart fall forward. All right, let's go ahead and roll it up. And I'm going to flutter my butterfly. Okay, let's do that again. This time extending the spine long. Put your elbow right there in front of the knee. Put your chin on those fingers and give it a gentle press. This is just an option. If you don't like it, leave it out. It's okay. Let's come up and flutter that butterfly. All right, we have another version, extending the hands to the ceiling. Now shoot those fingertips towards the wall in front of you and then just let them fall down towards the floor. All right, come up and let's go to the other side. So I'm going to take this knee and we're going to open it nice and wide. We're going to let this knee, opposite knee, fall down towards the floor. If you like this, that's great. Otherwise, you're going to push your leg back behind you. You're on those back toes. Back of the kneecap presses up towards the ceiling. Look over your front knee. Come into cactus arms. Squeeze your shoulder blades behind your back. Look up at the ceiling. Let's release it, and we're going to do that again. Here we go. You got it. And release. Face forward. Pyramid pose. Extending that same leg out in front of you, toes to the ceiling. Lengthen through the spine. Let that heart fall forward, keeping the back flat. Tuck the chin. Roll it up nice and slow. Lengthen through that spine. Let that heart come forward, keeping the back flat. Tuck the chin and roll it up. Extend the spine long, belly button to spine, back is flat. Tuck the chin and roll it. Beautiful. Pigeon pose, here we go. My ankle is on my knee, and maybe I stay right here. This could be fine. Otherwise, you're going to lengthen through the spine and let that heart fall forward. All right, keeping the back flat, so we're not rounding. Up we go. Let's flutter our butterfly. Do it again. Extend the spine long. This time maybe the elbow goes there on that knee. And place your chin on those fingers and press. All right, let's come up. Flutter again. Last time. Extending the spine long, hands to the ceiling. Hands come out towards the wall in front of you. And then you just let them fall towards the floor. All right, up we go. Go ahead and sit back in your chair. Hands are resting lightly on your thighs, palms facing up. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and a full breath out. True to yourself. Do what is right. Say what is true. Even if it has no impact on anyone else, it makes a big difference to you. 24 hours a day, you must live with yourself and your decisions. You do not want to spend all that time, year after year, with a liar and a coward. Be as civil, polite, cooperative, and understanding as you possibly can, but stop short of compromising your values, because that is not in anyone's best interest. You must first be true to yourself, true within yourself, if you are to be any help to anyone else. Every good and useful thing you have to offer has its roots in a consistent, truthful, authentic vision. You have the power to set the whole world on a more positive path, but it won't happen through shouting, preaching, cajoling, or demanding. It will come from your steadfast commitment to what you know at your deepest level is true and right. You have a well-developed sense of what is true, what is right, what is good. For your sake, for everyone's sake, let it guide your every move. Take a deep breath in and a full breath out. Drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. Reach up with the right hand. Give the head a gentle tug as you press that left hand down towards the floor. Release it. Drop your chin towards your chest. Reach up with your hands. Give the head a gentle tug. Release it. Drop your left ear towards your left shoulder. Reach up with the left hand. Give the head a gentle tug as you press that right hand down towards the floor. Release it. Look up just slightly. Open your mouth if you want to stretch your jaw. Bring your hands to your heart. Honoring one another, we say, Namaste. Thank you so much for joining today. Remember, leave me a comment. Click on leave me a comment and click on that subscribe button, and I will see you next time.